We should say that.
Thank you all for joining. We'll begin the webinar shortly. Thank you all for joining. We'll begin the webinar shortly. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining and welcome to Navigating City Contracting Opportunities with Councilmember Bob Blumenfield. My name is Mildred and I will be providing technical support during today's webinar. If you have technical difficulties, please email Vivian at vsoto@mwis.com. The email, is on your screen for your reference.
Okay. Ingrid's on.
I'm here.
Okay, Ingrid, then you'll introduce them.
Can you still do it? Couldn't print off the bio.
No problem.
Thank you.
And now for our disclaimer. As the host of this meeting, Merriweather and Williams Insurance Services reserves the right to remove anyone participating or engaging in behavior that is either inappropriate or a distraction to the proceedings. Persons involved in such behavior will be immediately removed from this meeting and not allowed to rejoin.
Great. Shall I get started? Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our event today. Thank you for making time in your schedule. We're happy you're here, and we hope that the time you spend is well invested. That's our purpose. We don't look to have these just to waste everybody's time. The goal is to help create some connections for you in terms of contracting opportunities and to understand the resources that are available to you. So my name's Ingrid Merriweather. I'm the president of Merriweather and Williams, and our firm administers the Contractor Development and Bonding Assistance Program, which is really designed to provide contractors with a range of technical assistance, financial support around bonding, contract financing, and training and education to help better position you for contract opportunities with our program sponsor, which includes the City of LA, LA Metro, and now the County of LA. So with that is just kind of a brief welcome. I'm going to hand it over to Ann D'Amato with 3D Network, who is our amazing partner that helps us convene these programs and do outreach for the program so that she can introduce our council member today.
Great. Thank you, Ingrid. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. It's my pleasure today to introduce Councilmember Blumenfield. Councilmember Blumenfield represents the 3rd Council District in the city of Los Angeles, which spans the northwest portion of Los Angeles in the San Fernando Valley, including the communities of Canoga Park, Reseda, Tarzana, Winnetka, and Woodland Hills. Public safety, emergency preparedness, beautification, and traffic reductions are some of the key quality of life issues he fights for in his district. He is committed to social justice, equality, and opportunity for all Angelenos. Councilmember Blumenfield is a graduate of Duke University and the UCLA Anderson School of Management Business Executive Program. He lives in Woodland Hills with his wife and their 2 children. Councilmember Blumenfield has been a staunch supporter of the city's contractor development and bonding program from the very beginning. I'm pleased to welcome our friend, one of my favorite council members, and our small business advocate, Councilmember Bob Blumenfield. Thank you.
And thank you so much. Thank you for that great introduction. And it's great to see you. It's been a while because of COVID and everything else. And Ingrid, thank you as well. So as mentioned, I'm Bob Blumenfield, representing the city's 3rd Council District, which, as mentioned, is most of the West San Fernando Valley. I wanted to be here to officially welcome you to today's City of Los Angeles virtual outreach workshop explaining the city's contractor development and bonding program. It's a successful city program administered by Meriwether and Williams Insurance Services, and I want to thank the folks at Meriwether and Williams, including our earlier speaker, Ingrid. As we all painfully know, we're in the middle of a global pandemic, and that's impacted our lives, our families, our friends. We've all suffered from it. And in 2020, when I last presented this workshop, we were able to meet face to face in my district office. Today, we're together, we're online for everyone's safety, but we're hopefully moving toward a time when we can be together again. We're going to continue to work through this crisis to serve all of you. The one thing I know about Los Angeles is that no matter what, we keep moving forward. Nothing stops us. We are tenacious. So with that in mind, we're providing you with a virtual outreach workshop to provide the regional contractor development and bonding program and the benefits and opportunities that it can provide. Now, the regional contractor development and bonding program is designed to expand your capacity as contractors and to encourage your participation in construction projects throughout Los Angeles. It's a great opportunity for you to learn and take advantage of the valuable resources that are available free of cost. I'm pleased that the city initiated the contractor development and bonding program, and really happy to know that Metro and now the newly added County of Los Angeles Department have joined forces. Due to the program's success, the program is sponsored by 3 major Los Angeles public agencies, provides an excellent opportunity to receive technical assistance and financial resources that are designed to better position you for contracting opportunities with CDABP sponsors. Now, as elected officials, all of us who are elected officials have fought hard to get this type of program implemented to help licensed contractors benefit from public contracting opportunities. I know firsthand, as a member, as the chair of the city's Public Works Committee, how important this is. We're working with public agencies. I know can be very challenging, but this program is here to help contractors break through the barriers. We have too many barriers, so we need help breaking. City of LA, with its Department of Public Works and all of our proprietary departments, airport, DWP, and the port, are all in the midst of a major multi-billion-dollar construction boom, and you can be part of it. And to add, President Biden's $2.25 trillion infrastructure proposal in transportation infrastructure alone, from roads and bridges to ports and airports, it's just more and more opportunities. So now is the perfect time to grow your business, and we want to help you do that. In this district alone, Council District 3, we currently have approximately $184 million in ongoing construction project opportunities. And frankly, that's not even by any stretch the largest district in terms of these opportunities. But even my district in the West Valley is $184 million of opportunity. And since we're going to host the 2028 Olympics, they're going to be even more focused on developing major projects in the near term. So despite these historic opportunities, there are still barriers that will to maximize participation from companies like yours, and we want to reduce those barriers. We want to break those obstacles down. And the City of LA has implemented, therefore, the Contractor Development and Bonding Program that you are going to hear about today. You're going to learn about the fundamentals of bonding and discover why it's necessary for public works projects, as well as hear in-depth explanation from these services and how one firm, KPA Constructors, utilized them to win 2 public construction contracts. Listen, I hope today's workshop is going to really help you maximize your potential, because we're counting on you to play a critical role in the city's economic comeback. I hope one day I'm going to talk to you in the near future, and you're going to remember this day and say, gosh, that was a turning point for me. That day, this day really turned me on to these opportunities. And then you're going to look back and say, now look at me, look at all the amazing things my company and I have done. So I'm looking forward to that day in the future. Thank you for being here today. And I'm going to turn it right back to over to Ingrid.
Yes.
Ingrid, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Councilman Blumenfield. We just appreciate your participation today, and really more broadly, just appreciate how much of a supporter you have been, not just for this program, but on behalf of small and diverse businesses looking to grow their business by doing business with public agencies. And you really underscored the point about timing and the wealth of opportunities that are coming through the pipeline, and how ideal it is for this time for contractors to be used to take advantage of resources, be prepared, and get as much information as possible. And we're going to start that right now with you having some understanding about the resources supported by the city and people like Councilmember Blumenfield to help you address some of the challenges to public contracting. There's a range of technical assistance, bonding assistance, and we have recently added contract financing assistance. So with that, if you all can advance the slide for me, I will do the first half of this, and then I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Robert Lowery, who will finish it up and get into some of the other technical areas. So just a little bit about us, so you kind of know our perspective of the world and where we come from. By license, we're an insurance, property casualty, risk management consulting firm, which I know that doesn't kind of quite lend itself to providing technical assistance to contractors, but in reality, things like bonding come from the insurance industry. Risk mitigation is a major part that has to be addressed in order for contractors to successfully bid and participate on public programs. So that's really what our background is as a firm, is really all about risk mitigation. In terms of this program, we call it aligned risk management, where we're practicing risk management, but doing it in such a way that we're also achieving goals of inclusion of small and diverse contractors in opportunities with our sponsors. And we too are a minority and a woman-owned firm. So there's a very definite relatability factor that we know what it's like to encounter barriers. We have dealt with some of those ourselves in our 25 years. And so, when you're speaking with us, just know that you're speaking with someone that's part of your own affinity group and who can appreciate what kind of challenges you encounter. And that's why we're there to help you push beyond those. You can go to the next slide. So this is what we call the 4 pillars of the program. This is the core of the services. It really starts with the first pillar, which is assessment and technical assistance. So we believe that, no 2 contractors are the same, that you all are in a different position in terms of the life cycle of your business. Some of you may just be getting underway. Some of you may have been in business for some time, may have even done public works for some time, but yet you're trying to get to the next level. So it all starts with assessing where you are at this moment. And that's done by an account manager. So when you enroll in the program, you are assigned to a dedicated account manager who will be your representative to make sure the program is extending the resources and support specifically for your firm. We think that approach enables us to get to know you well, understand the nature of your business, be on the lookout for contracting opportunities that align with your scope of work. And so that's how we make sure that you get a dedicated representative. Once we do this assessment, then we work with you to identify where do you want to go? What are your goals? What are your objectives? And we fashion a work plan of providing you a range of technical assistance to align with that. And that's how we work with you on a go forward basis. You're very involved in the process. You're establishing what your objectives are and what your goals are, and we're there to bring the program services to bear to assist you in that. Then, as you can see, the next pillar is bonding and contract financing assistance. So for those of you maybe not as familiar with bonding, bonding is required on public construction projects because essentially these are taxpayer dollars, and bonds are a way that agencies mitigate risk of contractors taking on work and then not being able to complete that work, essentially defaulting before the project is successfully completed. And bonding is a financial instrument. So qualifying for bonding has some similarities to qualifying for credit. And what we understand is, this is a lot of kind of vicious cycle scenario that in order to qualify for something, you have to demonstrate your capacity and past performance, but you can't start establishing that without having access to things like bonding to be able to bid and perform work. So we recognize, kind of the chicken and egg vicious cycle nature of systemic barriers. And the program is designed, if you will, to disrupt that systemic kind of vicious cycle and provide resources, including when it comes to bonding, we can provide collateral with a bonding company to help you qualify for the city program and metro program. We can put up as much as $250,000 of collateral or 40% of the bond, whichever is less, which serves as a very significant inducement to bonding companies to provide you with bonding capacity that you might not qualify for on your own. Last year, we added contract financing assistance to the program. And that's just really another recognition of a systemic barrier being access to capital. We understand that the nature of public construction requires that when you're awarded a contract, in order for you to prosecute the work, you essentially have to rely on your own financial resources to fund the work until you start receiving progress payments. And we understand that that gap at minimum is often 60 days and at times can be even longer than that. And that's really just, to be honest with you, it's an unfair burden that's been placed on contractors, particularly small contractors who don't have the volume of work and the volume of cash flow that kind of helps them manage that. And so this is really to address that gap, provide funding to you for a contract you're awarded with one of these sponsors. That's City of LA, LA Metro, and for contract financing, also LA County. If you are awarded a contract either as a sub or a small prime, then we can provide with our CDFI partners that work with us, we can provide you up to $250,000 of funding to help you prosecute the early expenses associated with that project. And on a case-by-case basis, we've even gone up to $500,000 of funding. So I'll tell you a little more about that in a moment. The next pillar you'll see is education, training, and contract support. Robert's going to get more into the, can you go back? Robert's going to get more into the contract support of this, but the education and training, you likely have seen numerous communications from us announcing just a wide range of workshops and seminars and academies. Some of these trainings are multi-week training programs. And we really want to encourage you to take advantage of them, because not only are you going to get the benefit of, technical but industry specific information and knowledge, you're going to inherently be networking. not only with your peers, but you're going to be networking with large prime contractors, because oftentimes they are the subject matter expert at some of these trainings. And we have seen instances where just participation between a small contractor in an academy and a prime contractor who's then present in that academy for multiple weeks, we've seen relationships that have been formed that led to contract awards. So, you know, the participation in training is really just beyond the technical information. And then our prime contractor partnership. So for many of you, your opportunities will be as subcontractors. And so really our intention is to help you qualify, pre-qualify for prime contractors, be able to demonstrate that you have bonding capacity, which you probably well know is something that they're always looking to discern. And the fact that you would have access to money, to funding, if they were to award you a subcontract on a project with one of our sponsors, is very significant, because they're always concerned about risk and they're trying to mitigate risk. And their concern, quite candidly, when you're a small contractor, one of their concerns is, do you have the capital to fund the work and keep the work moving forward? Because, you know, your failure to do so could create a problem on the project. So when they understand that you have backing from the city's program to provide you with contract funding, that has a measurable impact on their willingness to work with you, especially if you don't have an established relationship. Next slide. So really this gets into kind of a technical area about really what bonding is. I think the main thing for those of you who may not be familiar with it is it's really a financial guarantee by a third party, which is a bonding company. And so if you're a contractor and you've been awarded a contract and you had to bond that project, it essentially gives certainty to the owner of the project that if for some reason you fail to prosecute the work in accordance with the contract terms, and the owner or the prime contractor took an action to officially default you under the contract, that's when the bonding company steps up, has the obligation to replace you with a replacement contractor and see that that contract is complete at their cost. And so, you know, given that this is really a financial guarantee taken on by a third party, you can imagine that the criteria to qualify for bonding is pretty extensive, because they have to step into your shoes if for some reason you fail to complete the project. So they want to sense that, you know, you have the capacity to perform the work, that if not a long established track record, that's really the purpose of the program, to kind of mitigate some of those types of requirements. But, you know, they have to have some comfort level in your ability to fully prosecute the work. So it can be a challenge to qualify for bonding, and this is a critical reason why this program exists. Next slide. So really the goal of the program is to help you obtain or increase your bonding capacity. I'll give you a couple of examples. I think the smallest bond we did through the program was about $16,000, and the largest was $9.6 million. And we do not limit you to, you know, the contract size that you might be looking to pursue. Will not limit you to a significant extent, meaning that if we can help you secure the bonding for the project with the resources of the program, then the dollar value of the contract opportunities you pursue are those that you feel comfortable with. So we're not going to, you know, try to restrict you to, you know, say a $250,000 or $500,000 contract. And recognize that, as I said before, we treat you all as the individual firms that you are, and recognize that you're in different places in the development of your business. So if you have already been engaged in public works and you're looking to build capacity, well, then this is there for you as well. You may not need the same level of technical assistance. You may not need to be involved in some of the training programs, and that's okay too. If we see that you already have a good capacity for your business, you've been at it a while, but you just need help with increasing your bonding, or you need help with financing, then those are the services that would be extended to you. This really is about helping you build capacity from wherever you are to as high in terms of your project sizes that you're seeking. I talked earlier about the contract-based financing program. I described to you that when you enroll in the program, you'll be given a dedicated account manager. I talked to you about collateral support that we can put up for bonding. We can even help you with financial assistance for things like accounting services or financial statement services. We have a one-time $3,200 subsidy to help offset the cost of those services. And we are partnered with accounting firms and CPA firms that work with smaller businesses. So we can even create a connection of a referral to you with one of our program partners. If you're enrolled in the program, you'll start receiving weekly communications from us. We try to take some of the pain out of identifying where project opportunities are or events are that are geared or most conducive for small contractors, and send those to you on a weekly basis. And that's across multiple agencies, and then just alert you to other kinds of events and things that we're sponsoring or partnering with. Next slide. And let's see, this is more about the contract financing assistance program. So to qualify for this, really all you have to be is a small local contractor in the county of Los Angeles. Currently, this is specific to construction contracts. We are essentially using your contract, your awarded contract, to collateralize the funding. So we have CDFI partners who are making this funding available to you. The funding is available as you need it. It's not all up front. So if you secure $250,000 of funding, essentially portions of that go into an escrow account. We work with you to identify what your early expenses are going to be, your first week's payroll, your material purchases that you have to provide, and then those funds are released to fund those expenses. And this is earmarked for just that one particular contract or that one project that we're providing you with this support. The interest and charges of this are really very reasonable. The interest rate currently is 6.25%, and you're only charged interest for a period of time that a dollar amount is outstanding. So these are relatively short turnaround loans. So the interest charges are end up being pretty negligible. And then there's a 1% origination fee tied to the loan amount. That's essentially funds that have to go to the CDFI who's making this available. The other thing to know, this is not underwritten based on your financials. It's not underwritten based on your credit. Those are not factors that are significant. What we focus on is that you have been awarded a contract with one of these agencies. As I said, we use that contract as collateral. And so you might have had experiences where you walked into a traditional lending institution and, you know, they look at your financials or they pull a credit report and their standards are so high that, you know, you can't qualify. Well, you won't find that here. We're not looking at those kinds of parameters. We're really just looking at your ability to prosecute the contract. We're collateralizing the contract and giving you access to funding upfront when you're going to start incurring contract-related expenses. And because it is actual credit, we also can report positive credit information to the credit rating bureau. So we're looking to do what we can to even boost your credit score, because the credit performance under these loans is always positive because the way they're structured, we're controlling repayment of the funding. Next slide, please. So this is getting into some of the technical area of technical assistance. And I think, Robert, is this where I pass it over to you, or am I supposed to go through this one?
This is still your slide.
Okay, thank you. So I talked to you already about the assessment and work plan. Those pictures there that you see, like the one in what used to be an office space that we actually all convened together, I haven't stepped foot in there in a couple of years now, but this is one of our training academies. And so as you can kind of visualize here, we're bringing a group of about 12 to 15 contractors in the room. Subject matter might be bidding and estimating or contract award management. And that's going to be a multi-week, 5-week, you come back every week program, and you're interfacing, as I said, with the prime contractor that entire time. And so those of you who've gone to, events, meet the primes, networking, the best they offer you is the ability to go by somebody's table, drop a business card in a bowl, shake somebody's hand, and rarely do contract opportunities inure from that. But when you're interacting with prime contractors on a much more intimate level over an extended period of time, they really get to know you past a business card. And so if you're a painter, a drywaller, an excavator, they may interact with you and say, you know what, we've got work coming up. We're going to need a painter. We're going to need a drywall contractor. Let's come talk to me and see if we can get a bid from you. So that is what is really ideal about bringing these parties together. And we hope soon that these will go back to in-person events. As you can imagine, they've had to be virtual for some time. Contract completion support, I'm not going to go into that in detail because I think that's really Robert's arena. Things like bid document review, essentially coaching. So once you're on the project, we don't abandon you. We focus on your successful contract completion. So as issues arise on the project, which of course issues do arise when we're talking about public construction, we all kind of know the gnarly nature of it. We're there supporting you. We're there as a liaison. We're there to bring whatever parties to the table we may need to help address whatever the occurrence that is going on. And because we're hired by the public agency, that gives us the ability to get parties involved who really have a decision-making ability and can influence things getting on the right track. Next slide. Okay, there's my transition slide. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Robert Lowry, who we describe this as field support services. So the best way I can define that is what happens after the contract has been awarded to you. Robert?
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So I'm going to talk a little bit about before you get the contract. So we offer a couple services, bid document review. And this bid document review is looking at your documents that are your templates that you have to sign, your forms. We have a disclaimer, we do not look at your numbers because, we don't want the liability and risk put on Meriwether and Williams for if there's a number is incorrect. So what we can do sometimes is say, hey, check this number. Did you include this in your general conditions? We can coach you, but we cannot give you numbers for that. It's more about you being responsive and complete with your bids. So we also attend the pre-bids so we can gain more knowledge on the actual opportunity, and I review the plans and the specs and the contracts to identify any risks that can be in there, then work with you. We also will go, once we have the meeting with you, we will then have usually to redo the documents and come back and we'll do a final bid document review so we can just check to make sure you still have addressed everything. A lot of times it's more of a signature that's missing, or you leave something blank and you know that you don't have it. You should put NA in there because leaving something blank can sometimes disqualify your bid as being non-responsive. So that's a critical thing that we want to do to make sure you're successful in getting the bid. After the bid document review, and if you were successful, we'll go to the next step. But if you weren't, we can do a post-bid debrief and kind of coach you on some areas where you can improve. If your number is off, so there's always continuous coaching that I do with the enrolled contractors. So once you are on a project, we do have a kickoff with you the prime or the agency. It depends on if you're a subcontractor or a contractor. We also get our funds control that's also in this meeting. So we go through our expectations of what do we expect to do during this meeting, this duration of the project. We also have a job start checklist that I can, work with the contractor to make sure you have everything covered before you even start the job. A lot of times this is the back of the house administration where you need a lot more support. So I'm here to help support with the back of the house. Once you're starting the job, we have what's called a contract status report, which is from the prime or the agency, and a principal status report, which is the subcontractor or yourself, depends on what your role is. And that is on a monthly report that, we send out the notice, you fill it out. It's like a 1.5 page. So the purpose of this status report is to compare what you're saying is done in the field and what the owner or the prime is saying, and then we compare. And if there's any discrepancies, we meet and make sure everyone is on the same page. We do monthly check-ins. In the past, we do some site visits, go out there, but it's been recently via phone and Zoom to go through any issues that you have. I'm here to help you grow your capacity. We also work with you on your billings and payments. Go through those and make sure that it's filled out right. One thing we do always tell you to do is when you first get on the project, meet with the prime or the owner and say, give me an example of your billing. So that way, if it's a G702, 703, you know how to fill it out with your scheduled values because you don't want any delays in payments. So we work with you on that on constantly. Also with that, if you do have a CFAP loan, we also will do the loan servicing, which is also checking this billing payments. Construction schedule, we review that with you to see if there's any slippage or ways you can gain time on that. And if you're on a critical path, it's critical that you stay on schedule because you can cause the project to be delayed and there's liquidated damages. So we do a lot of that training and constant work with your field crew, attend weekly construction meetings so I can see what's going on in the field. Like I said, we do the site visits, we can do safety checks. Also change order logs. That's change orders is always going to happen on projects. So, we work with you. I work with you on how to properly put a change order request together. The packet is like telling the story. And this is what you need to do in the change orders. All the details, why did this change order happen? What's the cost of it? All the supporting documents goes in there. And then you have a log. So you want to make sure that these change orders are addressed in a timely fashion so you can bill for them because that increases your contract value. So with the log, we'll go through that and say, okay, you still have 6, 7 project change order requests open. Let's see if you can have a meeting to get those resolved, reconciled. Because at the end of the month, you always want a 0 open change order log. You want to get that. Closeout is critical because the warranties and all your ads built. We work with that to make sure that you have everything complete. Then once that happens, then your billing goes in. We also, once you get your retention, then we can go to the surety and bonding to get your bond released. So there's a process with that. So like we say, we stay with you through the completion of the project to make sure it's successful. So with that, I do believe we do have a poll question, or we should save that for later. Okay. So
Yes,
this,
Rob, let's do
I'm
that.
gonna turn it back over to you. There you go.
Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome.
Right, and now we have the journey from, pardon me. We have the journey from CDAP to success, a contractor testimonial with Carl Purcell from KPA Constructors. The council member, Bob Blumenfield, will present the Carl Purcell.
Great, thank you. So now you know a little bit more about the Contractor Development and Bonding Program. you're going to hear directly from a firm that utilized these services to win 2 public construction contracts. As you mentioned, KPA Constructors is a company that is primarily focused on heavy civil transit and systems construction, but they remain focused on its people and its clients, and they bring over 30 years of combined experience to their mission. Carl Purcell, KPA Constructors President, and Kit Wong, KPA's Senior Vice President of Operations, will present an in-depth explanation of the Contractor Development and Bonding Program, the services, and how they applied them successfully. So I hope you can learn from them. And again, since I may not speak again today because I'm running to another meeting, I hope this is a really successful program for you. And please know, as a council member, I'm here for you. Feel free to contact me or Tricia in my office to partner with you to help you through any of this stuff. So with that, let me turn it over to Carl and to Kit.
Afternoon. Thank you, City of Los Angeles Councilmember Bob Blumenfield and the staff of Meriwether-Williams Insurance Services for putting on this event and allowing me and KPA Constructors to be a part of it. There's been a lot of topics touched on today, and it's very interesting because we've really gone through a lot of the things that have been touched on, whether it's having funding to complete a project, putting together financial statements to obtain bonding. And today I want to talk to you about the integral role that the City of Los Angeles Contractor Development and Bonding Program has played in the ongoing success of my company, KPA Constructors. I'm going to stop calling it KPA Constructors. I'm just going to refer to it as KPA from now on because that's a tongue twister. But KPA is a California Certified Disadvantaged Business Enterprise and LA County Small Business Enterprise Certified electrical construction company headquartered in Pasadena, California. A little bit more about myself and the company. I'm a graduate of USC's Viterbi School of Engineering with a degree in civil engineering. I hold a State of California professional engineering license and a State of California A and C10 contractor license. I spent many years working for heavy civil firms, for large heavy civil firms, including Flatiron Construction and Walls Construction. Most of my career has been focused on LA Metro rail projects. In 2017, I started KPA Constructors with my partner, Kit Wong, to continue working on Metro rail projects while building a legacy for my family and myself. Our business focus was to become the systems electrical contractor of choice in the Los Angeles region by earning a reputation for high quality work while providing a safe environment for our employees and community through continued dedication to excellence and partnering with our clients. After KPA was founded in 2017, we began working as an electrical subcontractor on Metro rail projects. Most of the projects that we worked on were in the range of a few $100,000. But in 2019, we were awarded a subcontract for more than $3.7 million to install the complete radio systems on the Metro Regional Connector project. To execute this subcontract, however, we needed to provide a payment of performance bond for the full $3.7 million. Now, while our company had the technical expertise required to perform the work awarded to us, we did not have the financial maturity usually required to obtain a payment and performance bond. I think Ingrid mentioned it earlier, but when you go to get a bond, there's a lot of financial documents required, including a CPA reviewed financial statement. And sometimes they want a CPA reviewed financial statements for several years of the company's existence. And Meriwether-Williams was there and they helped us through that process. We had a relationship with a CPA before we contacted Meriwether-Williams, but they definitely helped us kind of, finalize the financial statement. And they also provided a subsidy, which helped us pay for the financial statement because they're not cheap. So be prepared for that. It's quite a sticker shock sometimes, but it was nice to have a small subsidy to help us. And really and truly, before we worked with Meriwether-Williams, we had tried to obtain the bond without going through the city program. So just on our own, we worked with another bonding agency. And pretty much what we heard from them was that they weren't going to be able to help us. There was no way, short of us coming up with close to $1 million, that we would be able to to get the bond. And that's really troubling when you think about it, because at that point we had already won the contract. We had the contract, and the prime contractor was ready to give it to us. They just wanted us to provide the bonding. But with the guidance of those within the City of Los Angeles Contractor Development and Bonding Program, we're able to obtain several key elements that we needed to acquire the payment and performance bond, including $250,000 in collateral bonding support, third-party fund control administration, and a subsidy for the costs of our CPA prepared financial statement, as I mentioned earlier. And then once we had everything in place from the City of Los Angeles Contractor Development and Bonding Program, we got the bonds and we were able to sign the project for $3.7 million. And we still continue to work on that project successfully to this day. Our relationship with the City of Los Angeles Contractor Development and Bonding Program in Meriwether and Williams did not stop with the first bond that we got with them for $3.7 million. Last year, we also got another project for it was just under $1 million to install some, they call it trainway feeder conduit. It's just conduit inside the subway tunnels that are being constructed under Wilshire Boulevard. But once again, we were able to work with Meriwether and Williams to get our bond. And really, having worked on both sides of this relationship, right? Having worked with larger contractors and now having worked on our own, I can tell you that without the supportive programs like the program that we're here to learn about today, it'd be very hard to be successful in these public construction projects. The council member mentioned earlier that there's a lot of opportunities right now in LA to participate in a lot of very large mega projects, but funding becomes an issue. And so knowing how you're going to fund the project and keep your company going when you're waiting to be paid, 2-3 months after performing work is very important. So yeah, I definitely took a good step and come in today and learning more about the program with Meriwether and Williams. And with that, I'd like to say thank you for offering me the time to speak to everyone today, and I'll turn it back over to our host.
Thank you so much, Carl. Before we I think we have a poll question coming up, but I just want to acknowledge really your success. You're a perfect example of somebody that worked for a large prime, perfected your craft and your skills, and then saw what the potential was if you stepped out on your own and kind of hung out your own shingle. And so I want to, acknowledge and give you accolades for that, because I know that's not easy. And, it's the kind of journey that many contractors follow, where they're working for another firm. And as you've acknowledged, there are so many opportunities out there that taking that risk sounds like it really paid off for you. And we're just happy that, we get to watch you grow and, there to help you. And as you continue to look for more work and you need more help, just know that the program is there and you're a big part of the success of the program. And so thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you for your aptitude towards your work, your attitude towards your work, your competency, because trust me, if that weren't in place, our ability to sustain these programs, it wouldn't be. If we started having contractors defaulting and not completing work, the public agencies at some point would say, we can't continue this. So you're really key and instrumental to this program being sustained and growing, because you're an example of why it's in place in the first place. So thank you, and thank you for sharing that. I think hearing from peers is really the best way for people to get a sense of how something works and would apply to their specific situation. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to the team and let them do the poll question.
Thank you, Ingrid. So now we have a poll question. Contractors, how did you hear about this workshop? I'll give the audience 30 seconds to reply. Thank you. And now from the Bureau of Contract Administration, Rolando Tuason with the overview of the city certification process.
Thank you, Mildred. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rolando Tuason. I'm with the Public Works Bureau of Contract Administration Certification Unit, though. I'm going to go over a brief overview of the certification programs that the city manages and administers. Now, the first basic, question here is, why do I need to get certified? As you know, and for those participants online, all city projects need some kind of certification for bidders that would like to bid on a project, because the city has anticipated participations for those businesses that are certified there. Basically, the first step in being certified is for you to first register your business in the city networking program. I believe most of you have heard about or are registered in the former Los Angeles Business Assistance Virtual Network. That has been replaced by RAMP LA right now. And for those who were registered in Bavan, I believe you already experienced a seamless transition from your account from LABAVN to RAMP LA. So for those who are not registered yet with the city, I would suggest that you get, I would like to, suggest that you registered in RAMP LA, so you can actually get bids with the city of LA, and then it also contains your certification information if you are certified. Next slide, please. So we have at this point about 11 different certifications. And you might ask, why 11 though? The city, really wants to cover all the businesses in the county of LA, the small businesses particularly, and it's a known fact that not everyone can qualify for all these businesses. So there are a lot of programs that the city implemented to kind of cover the contractors out there in the county of Los Angeles. And, we basically, just to understand how many of these, we broke it down into 3 different categories. The programs, one category is ownership-based programs, which is minority business enterprise, women business enterprise, the disadvantaged business enterprise, the airport concession disadvantaged business enterprise, and the disabled veteran business enterprise for the airports. The DBE and ACDBE the DBE and ACDBE programs are federal programs. And then the next category is our size-based certification. And the program in there is the SBA Proprietary, which I'm going to go over briefly there. So basic requirements of each program. As you can see there, minority business, it should be owned 51% by a minority. And those are on the right, are the minority groups that we recognize or are required by the program, or women business enterprise, majority owned by a woman, and the disadvantaged airport concession and disabled veteran business enterprises there. So the disadvantaged business programs are, again, federal programs which are used by city projects that have federal funding. Next slide. Okay, where to apply for these programs though? For the disadvantaged business programs and the ACDB certification program, you could basically it's now online, and you could go to that link in there, lacity.diversitysoftware.com, or because we are only limited to accepting these applications from all contractors located in the County of Los Angeles. If you are outside the County of Los Angeles, but within Southern California, you can apply at the California Unified Certification Program system in there. And the city is part of the California Unified Certification Program, which other member agencies like Caltrans, Metro, San Diego Airport, San Francisco Airport, Bay Area Rapid Transit, and to name a few. So next slide, please. The next one is the SBE Proprietary. As the name defines, though, it's a certification that are recognized by the city's 3 proprietary departments, DWP, Port of LA, and LAWA. So this is really easy because if you are certified rather in any of these programs that are listed in the front page of the application form, you don't really need to apply for this program because the city recognizes your certification from these recognized agencies, and all you need to do is from your account at RAP LA, you could just request recognition as SBE Proprietary because you are certified in one of these programs. Now, if not, then you have to submit to us a form, and then with all the necessary supporting documents to our office, and then we will review them. Next slide. Okay, the local business, what does local business mean? That means that you're located in the County of LA. There was a new ordinance enacted last August that combined in one application form through the RAP LA system or program that contains the local business enterprise program, the local small business enterprise program, which actually replaced the small local business program with the city, and the local transitional employer program. Next slide. Okay, location-based, again, another definition of location-based. We need to make sure, or you need to prove to us that you are really headquartered in the County of LA, because we look at where you are in terms of your physical address, and meaning that your main office should be where your books are kept and where management works for the services required in your business. We do not accept any PO boxes or any virtual offices or co-working offices for that matter. Next slide, please. Okay, the local business preference program, again, a simple requirement there. Again, you have to prove that you're in LA County and you have a business tax registration certificate with the city. Apply through RAMP LA, and we'll take we'll take it from there and work with you to complete your application process. Next slide. The local transitional employer. What is a local transitional employer? These are employers that have working programs for at least a year that could provide transitional job support services to participants that are hard to employ. They could be, homeless or, previously incarcerated, at-risk youth individuals, and to name a few. And again, there's a preference for those companies. If you're bidding on a program that requires this, you get a 10% preference on your bids. Next slide. Another one is the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender business enterprise program. There's no need for you to apply with us. We accept only those firms that are already certified by the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce. Next slide. Another set of certifications that are works by recognition with the city is the Small Business Enterprise Program and Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Program. Very easy, as long as you're certified with the California Department of General Services, then we recognize you as SBE or DVBE with the city. Just remember, to be recognized by the city, you have to request for recognition through your account at Ramp LA. Next slide. Again, this is one of the pages that you will see once you want to add a recognition if you're certified with the city. So all your certified or your certifications rather will be visible on your account at Ramp LA. This is being visible with all these certifications would basically get your foot on the door for all these projects, because most primes would be this is their first source of getting certified businesses. Next slide, please. Okay, how do you apply? The different methods in there. Again, as I mentioned before, DB and ACDB, it's online right now. For the minority business and the women in business enterprise, which is a City of LA program, which basically was grandfathered from the DBE program. You have to submit a paper application to our office. SBA Proprietary, again, is a recognition program. And then the DVBE is you apply through RAMP, and the LBE, you apply through Ramp LA as well. So next slide. A brief overview of what it takes to get certified. So when we get your application, we analyst is assigned there, and we do our desk audit and work with you to complete the process, and we make our final decision on your application. Next slide, please. So, it really is a big advantage for you if you are already certified with other agencies, because, most of these agency certifications are the city recognizes. So, and then it'll be easier for you because, you don't really need to go through the certification process with us. Next slide. We have this little cheat sheet in here, and if it's not really that clear, and I could ask Meriwether Williams to send you a clear, PDF copy. This one basically tells you that if you are certified in one kind of certification, then you can qualify, as you can see on the rightmost column in there, for those programs, and the middle column is where you need to apply for those programs. And next slide. Oh, yeah. Any questions with us? I know that I went through our programs and really in general terms in there, but my main suggestion for those who are not yet certified is to, as early as possible, even though you're not bidding on a project that needs some certain certification that you don't have, apply to that as early as possible and apply to as many certifications with other agencies, because other agencies might have programs that we do not recognize and their projects need those kinds of certification that each agency have. So any questions? The top link is our bureau website, and any questions you could email us on that email link. Okay, thank you very much for your time, and if there's any questions, then I can answer that afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Rolando. Thank you very much. And now from the Department of Water and Power, please welcome Jason Kim, Management Analyst.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jason Kim. I'm from the Supplier to Our City office at LADWP. I'm going to quickly talk about how to do business with LADWP. A small portion of this also applies to how you can do business with the City of LA, so it will apply to that as well. Next slide, please. Just a quick facts about LADWP. We are the largest municipal water and power utility in the nation. We serve 4 million residents and businesses in the Los Angeles city of Los Angeles. And we awarded $1.2 billion worth of contracts for goods and services in 2020. Next. Two main methods in which we buy at LADWP through two competitive solicitation methods are the IFP, the invitation for bid, and the RFP, the request for proposals. Next slide, please. The IFP, the invitation for bid, typically used for construction projects, materials, equipment, rentals, and non-professional services. They're sometimes referred to as low bid or sealed bid. There are no exceptions allowed for these bids. The bids must conform to all terms, conditions, and specifications of the IFP, and they are awarded to the lowest priced responsive and responsible bidder. Slide, please. For RFPs, requests for proposals, typically used for professional, expert, technical, or other complex services, including design, build, construction. The RFPs have predetermined evaluation criteria such as technical management and past experience, as well as a cost factor. Exceptions may be allowed and negotiations may take place, and they are awarded to the highest scoring proposer based on stated selection and evaluation criteria. Next slide, please. How to participate, as my colleague Rolando already talked a little bit about. We are moving away from the LA Babin system to RAMP LA. You can follow that link down there. If you were already signed up for LA Babin, your account should have transitioned over to RAMP LA, but this is where now you can find the contracting opportunities for LADWP as well as the rest of the city. Using this, you can view open contracting opportunities. You can create a profile to be automatically notified of new postings, and you could also download the documents associated with the posted opportunities. So if you want to do business with LADWP or even the city, I highly, highly recommend. I mean, this is basically the only portal you can use to do it. So I highly recommend and suggest that you sign up and create an account through rampla.org. Next slide, please. Just want to quickly talk about LADWP's SDEDB participation program. This program is to create more competition and offer additional opportunities for small small disabled veteran-owned and other businesses to participate in LADWP contracts. This program applies to most contracts over $150,000 for services, construction, and rentals with operators. This contract-specific mandatory SB or DVP participation requirement is set as a percentage of the contract. Bidders who do not meet the minimum mandatory SB or DVP participation requirement will be deemed non-responsive. And LADWP's overall annual goals for SBs 25% and 3% for DVP. Yes, I can speak louder. Apologies. This is Supply Line. This is a newsletter that goes out quarterly for LADWP specifically, published by Supply Chain Services. If you follow that link down there, supplyline.ladwp.com. If you scroll over all to the right, you can find the upcoming opportunities for the different systems in LADWP. They're listed by price, estimated bid, release date. They have a short description of the work. So this to find opportunities for LADWP, this is probably your best resource to see if you can work with LADWP. So yeah, check supplyline.ladwp.com. I believe a new one was just published this month. So yeah, again, please, this is probably the best way to see the upcoming opportunities for LADWP. That's supplyline.ladwp.com. Next slide, please. Just to really quickly go over again how to get your business ready. Again, register on rampla.org. Have all licenses and requirements ready. If you have any certifications, whether they be SBE or DVBE or any other certifications Rolando was talking about, please have them ready. We have specific certifications that are recognized by LADWP, and those lists will be available on the bids when you do submit your proposals or bids. So look out for those. And also have your LA Business Tax Registration Certificate ready. Every person who is engaged in business with the City of LA is required to obtain this tax registration certificate in order, or required to obtain an exemption. And you can obtain this certificate at the Office of Finance website at finance.lacity.org. Next slide, please. Just some quick hints and tips. Perform due diligence and be prepared. Again, have everything ready. While you read the bid or the spec or anything like that, understand the statement of work or specification and the requirements of the contract. Make sure if it's required, attend, well, it's most likely going to be quite attended pre-bid or proposal meetings. I suggest you also network with the prime contractor if you're a sub and remain visible. And again, be responsive and responsible, and don't give up. There's a lot of opportunities that come, so just keep trying again. Next slide, please. If you have any questions or if any of this related to any of the things we talked about here today, you could email us. I know it says Supplier Relations Office, but it will reach my office, the Supplier Diversity Office, at Supplier Relations Office at LADWP, or the phone number listed there. You could also contact the LADWP Vendor Liaison Center Contact Info, which you can email them at perchbids@ladwp.com or at the phone number listed there. And that's all for me. Yeah.
Thank you, Jason, for such great information. And now we have from Los Angeles World Airport, Jeanette Anderson, LAMP and CIP Administrator. Jeanette.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone to everyone from LAWA. We are back in the office now, so if I have any technical difficulties, we've been having some challenges. I apologize in advance. Next slide, please. Next slide. Thank you. So Los Angeles World Airports was ranked, back one slide, please. Sorry, thank you. Ranked third in the world for passenger service prior to the pandemic. We just found out this week that currently we are ranked 8th. So we're slowly getting our passenger numbers back up and climbing up there. The Los Angeles World Airports consist of 3 airports, LAX, the Van Nuys Airport, which is a small general aviation airport, and the LA Palmdale Airport that mainly maintains land holdings. And it's a previously an FAA certified airport. Next slide. So I'm going to share some information with you this afternoon about some business opportunities at LAWA. LAWA procures over 500 million annually in requests for bids. We procure goods and equipment, materials and supplies, non-professional services. So pretty much anything there is out there, the airport does procure. LAWA has administered over $14 billion in requests for proposals, so RFPs, for construction projects as well as professional services contracts. Next slide. So I won't go too much into certification, but as you heard from Rolando from the city, each city department has different, requirements for certification. So this list here is a list of the certifications that LAWA currently recognizes. So we have our local programs, which is SBE, SLB, the LBE, LSBE, DVBE, and then we also recognize a disadvantaged business enterprise, DBE, and then the ACDBE program, which is the airport concessions DBE program. So if you have any questions about certification and certification specifically at LAWA, there's next slide. There's a dedicated certification team that's part of the city of Los Angeles that's here at LAWA to assist you. And so their contact information is here. So you'll receive the certification teams, the LAWA certification team contact information here at LAWA when you receive the slides. Next slide. And again, just want to reiterate, you've heard this before from Jason, and you'll continue to hear it. So get registered on RAMP, formerly the LA Bavin system. So they revamped their system and now they're called RAMP. So just want to encourage you to get registered on there. LAWA posts all of its bid opportunities on the RAMP system. So if you're looking, if your question is, how do I find out about LAWA projects, you'll find out about them on RAMP. Next slide. So the business jobs and social responsibility division is the division that I'm a part of. My team specifically, the LAMP and Capital Improvement Program Inclusivity Team, we provide oversight, monitoring, and enforcement compliance of the inclusivity commitments on the construction projects here at LAWA. But the Business Jobs and Social Responsibility Division is a division here at LAWA whose mission is to simply maximize access to business and job opportunities. And then we also ensure that the local diverse communities benefit from LAWA's investments. And so we're really here to help the community, help small businesses, help growing businesses. We really want you to participate in all of the work that's going on out here at LAWA. We've got lots of work happening, lots of things coming up for many, many years to come. So We want to encourage you to get your businesses in position and get yourselves in place and get ready to, hopefully come out here and compete for some work. Next slide. So this is just a recap of our capital program and some of the dollars that are associated with the different categories of projects that we have going on out here. Next slide. So here's I think what most of you all are most interested in, what are the opportunities right now at LAWA? So currently, we've got a couple projects that are in process. The MSC South, the bids were, not the bids, the RFPs, the proposals were submitted last month. So we're currently reviewing those proposals. And so just be on the lookout for that project. It's in addition to the MSC North project, which is now has been renamed to the West Gates at Tom Bradley. So it's part of the international terminal. So they're doing some additional building out there. And so just be on the lookout for, whichever team is selected and awarded to perform that work. So there may be some, opportunities for contractors, for small contractors there, because they will have some inclusivity goals in place for that. The next project that's in process is the LAX cargo modernization program. And so right now what's out on the street for that is a request for industry comment. And so this is a very specialized type of work, cargo facility development. And so LAWA has solicited feedback from the industry as we prepare to prepare an RFP for this project. And then the projects that are currently posted on RAMP, we have a few here. So again, if you're registered on RAMP, you can get notified about upcoming projects and ongoing projects. So right now what we have is the terminal mobile generators. So those bids are due next month. The AT&P landside draft RFP, there's a pre-proposal conference coming up next week, and then proposals will be due in June. And then the taxiway D extension, I know for sure this project has a DBE requirement. Our DBE goals will be on this project. And so the proposals will be due for that project next month. Next slide. And then what's upcoming later on as we get into the summer before the fall. So we've got the AT&P. So just to let you know, the AT&P program, so the airport terminal modernization program is rolling out. And so there's billions of dollars that are associated with the airport terminal improvements. So we'll be doing some roadside taxiway as part of that program. Lots of programs coming up. So lots and lots of work coming out specific to this program. So one of those projects that's coming out is this one here in May. Then we'll have some environmental services coming up in June. BOP phase 2 is coming up in June. Landscaping for the CTA also in June. And then we have some smaller as needed construction projects. So look out for that later on this summer. Those projects will probably be ideal for smaller contractors to work directly with LAWA. And then later on June, July, we have some a runway project here. So more to come for that. Next slide. So what should you know? So Jason shared with you some tips that he had from DWP. So I just would like to, reiterate to you, to know your agency. You can always find information about what's happening at LAWA on LAWA's website, so lawa.org. You can find out, again, our opportunities that are being posted on RAMP. if we're slowly transitioning back in. So I know we've had several trainings throughout the year. Last year we had Build LAX Academy earlier this year. So just, get to know your agency, get to know, the folks over here at BGSR, so we can help to prepare you for doing business at the airport. And then you just want to stay ready. So again, just reiterating how important it is to get certified, making sure that you're networking, you're looking at ways to build your capacity. One of those ways of doing that is to make sure that you get enrolled into the CDABP program and, work with your account manager. LAWA is fortunate to have a dedicated account manager to our program here. Rosa is dedicated to the airport. So she's very aware of everything that's going on here at the airport and can definitely assist you with getting enrolled so you can find out about what is going on at the airport. And then you also want to know your customer, understand the different types of procurement, plan for, the gap. You want to be careful about your bids, make sure that, you're utilizing the technical assistance that Meriwether provides in, helping you to get prepared to bid and, definitely building those relationships that will help you to grow and sustain your business. And so, you always want to be prepared. The doors of opportunity are always open. You just have to be ready to walk through them. So I just want to encourage you all to get ready, and ask lots of questions. The more questions you ask, the better prepared you are. Next slide. And then if you have any questions for us here at Business, Jobs, and Social Responsibility, our contact information is here. Please feel free to give us a call or send us an email. Like I said, we're back in the office now. So, if you leave a message, we'll be sure to call you back. But the fastest and easiest way to get in touch with us would be to email us directly. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Jeanette. Last but not least, we have Ed Hahn, civil engineer with the Port of Los Angeles. Ed?
Hi, everyone. Ed Hahn, civil engineer with the Port of LA. I'm here to share the Port's upcoming projects. Next slide, please. So on the screen is a one-year look ahead of our capital improvement program. The Port of LA is committed to creating opportunities for small and very small business enterprises, as well as local and regional businesses. So as was mentioned earlier from everyone else, if you're an SBE, VSBE, or LBE and interested in performing work with the City of LA, you'll need to register through Ramp LA. The Port encourages SBE and VSB participation by including SBE, VSB percentage goals as part of our contracts. The Port of LA has an annual 25% SBE participation goal, of which 5% is VSB participation. In addition, our contracts include a local business preference program, which allows local business enterprises to receive up to an 8% preference for any contract opportunity that is competitively bid up to $1 million. The list on the screen represents construction projects the Port plans to begin construction on in the next year. These projects are going to be advertised and competitively bid through our online bidding system, Planet Bids. Bidding opportunities with the Port can be checked through the Port's Construction Division Business Opportunity Network located on the Port's website, and that's the hyperlink below. So these are the projects we got right now. Actually, the San Pedro Waterfront Phase 2 and the Front Street Beautification Project. These two are going to be advertising this month, as early as next week, I believe. And then the other projects listed below are going to be advertised later on throughout the year. I have a few extra slides about just some particulars about the project that I can share with you. Next slide. So San Pedro Waterfront Phase 2. The construction cost estimate, $29.3 million. I heard earlier today that actually is an old estimate and it's going to be updated, so it might be a little less than that. And like I said, the anticipated advertised date should be sometime next week. And subcontracting opportunities, there's going to be asbestos lead assessment and abatement, saw cutting, hazardous waste cleanup and disposal. There's going to be some landscaping work, pile driving, and reinforcing steel. Next slide. This project is the Front Street Beautification Project, also scheduled to advertise next week. The construction cost estimate for this is 3.3 million. And this project subcontracting opportunities will be fencing, electrical, and concrete paving. And I believe the SBE VSB goals for that are going to be 17 and 5. But check the website that I provided on the earlier slides, and that'll take you straight to our CD bond, and you can check for open bid opportunities. Next slide. The Harbor Administration Building HVAC Replacement Project. This is a project that we actually advertised last year, but we're rebidding. This one is scheduled to advertise in July this year, and subcontracting opportunities for this will be mechanical suppliers for HVAC, concrete demolition, cutting, finishing, structural demolition, electrical, and construction equipment rental. Next slide. Berth 238, 239 Motem's Wharf Reconstruction. Scheduled to advertise in July this year. The expected construction cost estimate is 24.7 million. And that project's gonna have subcontracting opportunities for demolition, concrete work, fender system supplier, structural steel, miscellaneous metals, and electrical. Next slide. Then we have the berths 177 to 178 wharf restoration. This project is anticipated to advertise in September this year. Construction cost estimate 9.1 million. Subcontracting opportunities include pile driving, reinforcing steel, plumbing, and equipment rental. Next slide. And we have the SR 47 reconfiguration project. And this is going to be improvements at the existing SR 47 and Front Street Harbor interchange. The work's going to be a realignment of that interchange to improve safety and access. The anticipated construction cost estimate is 49 million with an target advertised date of November of this year. Subcontracting opportunities, fencing, landscaping, pile driving, reinforcing steel, landscaping, electrical, and equipment rental. And this project has some grant funding tied to it. And so this one might actually be DBE requirements. But like I said, as the year goes on, continue to check the port's website for CD bond to follow up on that. Next slide, I think this is the last one. This will be the Harbor Administration Boardroom Remodel Project. And this will be a project to replace existing AV equipment and construct a new AV room, new lighting, and modifications to the existing boardroom. This project is anticipated to advertise in December with subcontracting opportunities for carpentry, cabinetry, electrical, and AV work. So these are the projects that we are planning or projecting to advertise this year. So like I said, just continue to check the port's website. And if you're an SB, VSB, register through Ramp LA.
Great, thank you so much, Ed. And
You're
now
welcome.
we have 2 poll questions. The first one is, what subjects would be beneficial to include in future workshops? I'll give the audience 30 seconds to reply. Thank you. Now we have the second and last question. Would you like to enroll in the program in order to receive free technical assistance and resources? I'll give the audience 30 seconds to reply. Thank you everyone for participating in the poll questions. And now for closing remarks, please welcome Ingrid Merriweather.
Thank you, Mildred, and thank you all for participating today. We apologize, we ran a little bit over. I hope you found the time well spent and the information valuable. We know it was a lot to digest, and I have one more bit of information to share with you. Our CDFI partner PACE shared with the group, and in case you didn't see it in the chat, that they have $5,000 to $10,000 of grant funding and have reserved 25 spots. This is called the Dream Fund. They reserved 25 spots specifically for contractors, and they're not, they haven't reached 25 yet. And so I'm pretty sure grant means not a loan. It means this is funding you don't have to repay. Again, the amount is $5,000 to $10,000. It's called the Dream Fund. And again, they have 25 slots for contractors. So you might want to take down this email for Jennifer Whalen. It's JWHELAN at PACE, PACELA.org. I'll say that one more time. Her name is Jennifer Whalen. The email address is JWHELAN at PACE, PACELA.org. So I would encourage you not to hesitate if this would be of something of interest to you. I can't imagine anybody that doesn't find money interesting. But, you know, reach out to her quickly. If you don't get her information down, you can always reach out to us and we can make sure you get connected. So again, just kind of in closing, a lot of dense information. We're going to send out this slide deck so you all have a copy of this. Much of what you have heard, certainly about the program, you can get a one-on-one, full-on orientation with one of our account managers. So if you want to have a better depth of understanding of the program and the resources and how it works, I want to reiterate that all the resources we talked about through the program are at no cost to you. And so we encourage you to take advantage, as you heard from so many of those who presented today, the wealth of opportunities, and there's more coming. And, you know, there's really a supply and demand problem. There is a tremendous demand for small and diverse contractors to participate on these projects in LA County. And to be quite candid, there just aren't enough firms kind of positioning themselves to take advantage of them. And that's really just kind of a shame. So I don't want you to fall on that list. I want you to take advantage of the resources. You get connected with us, and you know, we're kind of a nexus point that we can help you make all the other connections that you need. So don't let fear, or don't be hesitant to reach out to us. Let us help you. Let us get you underway. You heard the story of KPA, one of our contractors, so you know this is for real. And we're really ready to work with you. So thank you again for the time that you spent with us. We apologize for running a bit over, and we look forward to seeing you back at our next convening. You guys have a great evening.
Thank you again for joining us this afternoon, and I hope you all benefited from hearing from the different departments and CDAP program and contractor testimonial. Be on the lookout for another event this month and early next month that also explore bonding and upcoming construction opportunities with the city, metro, and county. We've shared the links in the chat for your convenience. Thank you again and have a wonderful evening.
Join us for our next one, and you can attach the